Hello and welcome to another episode of Silver Screen, the show where we discuss the ongoings in the film and television industry. As always, I'm Emma, your host, and today we have two exciting guests lined up and our weekly movie review. But first, it's time for all the news in film this week. This week, we saw the controversial trailer for Disney's live-action adaptation of Aladdin. The biggest issue under fire by the public is the role of Will Smith as the genie, as it appears as if they've just painted the actor blue and called it a day. One Twitter user said, "Will Smith's genie is what appears in my room when I have sleep paralysis." Will Smith even admits that he always fears if what he's doing is going to be iconic or not. On the topic of terrifying CGI, we have another Detective Pikachu trailer being released. It is a hotly debated topic whether this movie's style is genius or nightmare fuel for many of their young viewers. Live-action adaptation seems to be a new trend, with the trailer coming soon for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie from the director of Fast and Furious, as well as talk of a Hello Kitty Hollywood movie. One thing is for sure, that all this controversy is attracting attention, and they're sure to make it big in the box office. Well, we'll have more from the news later when we're discussing the Oscars with our guests, but now it's time to bring our first guest on, Yertzl Martinez, who has worked as a videographer and director of photography on various films. But first, let's take a quick look at his showreel. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Yertzl. We just saw your showreel there. So can you tell us what has been your biggest moment in the industry? What have you enjoyed the most?
I think my biggest moment was working on Anna and the Apocalypse. It was just great experience being able to be part of two camera teams. I was the only camera trainee between two camera teams, and it was great fun watching the director direct the actors. It was nice to see how he directed choreographs and stuff. And just being part of a big project for Scotland was, I think, my greatest highlight.
Oh, great. How long did that shoot last?
It was a 5-week shoot, and then I got to be part of the post-production side of things as well as a quality control technician for Blazing Griffin, and I got to see the film about 17 times. So yeah, it took about 2 years to finish a film and deliver it before it went out in cinemas.
What's sort of involved in like the quality control? Is it just continuity or is it more technical?
It's a bit more technical than just continuity, so you're looking at the file itself, you're looking out for pixels, for any damage in the file in terms of audio and visual, and anything that you flag up, you write the timecode down and pass that on to online editors.
Oh, great. Well, in terms of your work, do you vary what you do, or is it mostly one sort of drama, or do you do more corporate stuff? What sort of thing are you into?
I think as a camera technician, your work can vary. You can be like a self-shooter and like shoot events, weddings, your small corporates, or you can have like bigger jobs where you shoot commercials, documentaries and short films. And I think I'm more inclined towards the documentary side of things because I think it's nice to talk to real people.
Yeah, I suppose. Do you find that working freelance is a bit better, or do you like working with like production?
I feel like if you're working for a production company or if you've got a settled job, then you know that you're working either 9 to 5 and you have a secure paycheck. Whereas if you're freelance, you're having to hunt down each job and you don't know where your next paycheck is going to come from. and having to send an invoice and have to wait for it. That's the hardest part. Or having to chase up an invoice, I think is the worst part, because I obviously want to keep a relationship with your clients.
I suppose, but I guess like the work must be a bit more varied when you get freelance as well, though, than if you're working for a specific company.
Yes, it becomes more varied. If you're working for a specific company, be it the BBC or any other production company, you obviously have an allocated set of time to work on the job, whereas freelance, you can be working a day or 2 days or a week, and it varies in the locations you're using, the budget they've got, so on.
Always interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you choose this sort of career path?
I think I just landed in it. I had approached college. I was going to do a college course, but I wasn't able to study at the time because of residency status. But we don't need to delve into that too much.
No.
But I just found passion in storytelling, and through the lens, I think, was the best medium.
Oh, great. And is there anything that you've got coming up that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, so next week I'm going to be working with a couple of friends, working with Lewis Capaldi's little brother. So yeah, we're going to be creating some showreel material for him to go on a big job in London.
Oh, nice. I suppose that'd be fun. Any sort of bits you can tell us about, or is that all under wraps?
It's under wraps at the moment.
Oh, no. Okay, great. Fine. And just finally, do you have someone that you take inspiration from or admire in the industry, or?
Yeah, I think I really like Roger Deakins in the UK. I think his work is very interesting. He started in documentary and then delved into drama, and obviously he was one of the most nominated people in cinematography at the Oscars. And finally he won it last year for Blade Runner. And I think Emmanuel Lubezki, nice Mexican talent. I think Mexico is obviously sweeping with the Oscars in the last few years.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Speaking
no
of the
problem.
Oscars, we'll get your thoughts on this most recent Oscars a little bit later. But first, we're going to go to our film review of Captain Marvel, so let's roll the trailer.
Okay, prove you're not a Skrull.
That's a photon blast.
And?
A Skrull cannot do that.
I'm just supposed to take your word for that. We are Kree. Strong, united. You have to let go of the past.
I don't remember my past.
Control it.
I have this power, but I don't know where it came from.
I've never seen anything like her.
You think you can find others?
She's just the beginning.
You've come a long way, but you're not as strong as you think.
Captain Marvel is the first female-driven movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it is directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, the duo that brought you films like Half Nelson and It's Kind of a Funny Story. It was released on March 8th, International Women's Day. The coming of Captain Marvel was made clear during the end credits of Avengers Infinity War. However, this is the audience's official introduction to the character. The film revolves around the titular hero stranded on Earth in the middle of an intergalactic war between the Kree and the Skrull. The key problem with the film is almost all down to what it is in of itself, a Marvel movie. Marvel are currently making the biggest films in the world, so it is a shock to see that this film has been formed from the cookie cutter of Marvel's format. Following this format gives almost no suspense or emotion to the film. The choreography and the action scenes are all very good and certainly provide a lot of fun, but at no point is the audience worried about who the victor may be. In spite of this, there's a lot of fun to be had from the film. There are no points that could be considered boring, and this does create a very smooth viewing for the audience. As for the depiction of Captain Marvel herself, Brie Larson puts in a passable performance, which, considering the effort she's put in over the years in other roles, is a huge disappointment, and it seems like she was holding back a lot. This is a shame, as it doesn't leave much of a memorable performance. Overall, Captain Marvel is just another Marvel movie, nothing special. It is very fun and very comedic, but there is not an awful lot of substance to it. The message is very strong and will only lead to good things for the young girls who will watch the film and no doubt be inspired. Besides that, it ties Captain Marvel into the cinematic universe well and will definitely have the audiences looking forward to the Avengers Endgame. Okay, so that's all for our film review this week. Be sure to tune in next week. We will be looking at the up-and-coming Disney live-action film Dumbo. We have one last discussion about the controversial Oscars, so we'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Ain't just gonna break you, dog. I'll break your heart. Class is dismissed. Take this dissing to part.
Oh, give it up for my man Grizzle. Up next, we got my boy Boogie. We got
Don't go breaking my heart. I could.
Whoa, stop right there.
What?
Eat a Snicker. You always lose your edge when you're hungry. Better.
Better. Yo, I said, give me the track.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers.
Everybody. Yeah. Chicken satay. Yeah. Pink prawn chow mein. Whet your appetite. Whet your appetite. Chinese food tonight.
Just eat. Tap the app and get that mini fist pump feeling.
Oh my gosh, I'm back again.
Welcome back to the Silver Screen with our guest Yutzel Martinez. We're also joined by a friend of the show, Reese. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Great. Well, Oscars was last week and there's plenty to talk about, so let's just dive right in. Do you have any favourites before the show actually started? Any hot picks for who you think would win?
I think Roma was my favourite.
Well, the favourite was Athlete. That was the favourite for me. I thought that deserved the most recognition.
Yeah, so glad that they both won some awards tonight. Was there any awards that you disagreed with that you think should have went to other people?
Yes, Black Panther was nominated for original score, which I don't believe it deserved. I think all the other nominations had a lot stronger compositions to compete with, so I don't really believe that was the best choice. I feel that was more of a crowd pleaser for the kind of mass support of that movie.
Do you think it was that they gave Black Panther sort of nod in the sort of technical awards because history?
Because and it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't believe it was ever in running for actually achieving it, so I thought they were going to just give it the kind of technical awards like they've done with other movies in the past, like other Marvel movies before it.
And so you said Roma was your favourite, so
yes.
Yeah, that's great.
I was surprised it didn't win Best Picture, to be honest. I do think it was a bit of a political issue there. I don't think they would let a Netflix film win and a film in Spanish, especially with the whole Trump policies these days. But I don't think Green Book was a Best Picture film. Even though I really loved the film, I don't think it should have won it. There was other contenders in there that probably had a better shot at winning it.
Do you think, though, that in future that the Academy are going to be more open to then including sort of films that are from online platforms than that they would have?
Well, there's a lot of discussion and controversy with Steven Spielberg at the moment in terms of saying that Netflix is a bit elitist.
Yeah.
But they're the ones funding the films these days, and I think they shouldn't roll them out because obviously it gives more audience. People have more access to seeing a cinematic film, even though it pulls out of the cinema experience. I had the pleasure of watching Roma in the cinema at the GFT, and it was the most beautiful experience I've ever had. The sound design was incredible. The cinematography was awesome, but the sound design in the cinema is a lot different than watching it at home on your TV.
Yeah, there is something to be said about watching it on the big screen. Was there any snubs this year that you thought that was just like they should have either one. For me, it was Toni Collette in Hereditary. I thought she gave a fantastic performance, and she should have been nominated for Best Actress. Was there any ones that you thought?
Eighth Grade for writing, and again for song for score. I believe that was very snubbed, as well as If Beale Street Could Talk. It was nominated for a couple categories, but I feel like it should have been more, including the Best Picture.
Yeah.
I feel like that was more deserving. Also, the documentaries.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a kind of weaker category because there were so many very popular documentaries that were made for this season that just were never featured, like the Mr. Rogers documentary or Peter Jackson's one about World War II. I feel like they were stronger entries than the ones that were already put in that nomination.
Okay. And just like one final question, easy one for you. What is your ultimate Oscars win? Who do you think was like the best to have won? Either it could be Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, or a technical award. What do you think?
For me, it's Roma.
Just Roma?
Yeah. It won the awards it needed to win.
Yeah.
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman.
I think she 100% deserved that, and she's been needing that recognition for a long time. She's been doing really well over in the UK, and now she's actually gotten some more international kind of eyes on her, and I think she deserves it completely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was
Thanks for having us.
interesting to hear what you had to say. Well, that is all for us tonight. Up next week, we have a very exciting guest, an up-and-coming talent. So make sure you let us know your thoughts on tonight's show by giving us a tweet at Silver Screen. But from us, this show, it is good night. So thank you very much.